The good news is there are jobs out there and the economy is on the upswing. But the bad news for so many hiring managers and employers right now is they can't find candidates, especially on the line level side and in operations. It is hard for so many employers out there, hotels, restaurants, resorts, clubs, and so many other industries to find talent for their concepts. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some tips on where to find candidates, and hopefully this will help you a little bit in your candidate pipeline. If we haven't met, I'm Jeremy Nichols, and I'm a hospitality headhunter, and I've been in this space headhunting and recruiting for over 20 years. And I made this channel just for you. If you're a candidate looking for opportunities or a hiring manager and recruiter looking for ideas, tips, and advice, this channel is for you. All right, so you clicked on this video to get some ideas, so let's just jump right into it. So number one, LinkedIn. Yes, of course, that is still a very powerful option. For the line level and hourly positions, not so much, but if you're looking for directors, upper management, and C-suite, LinkedIn is still a great option. Quick suggestion, if you don't have access to Sales Navigator or LinkedIn Recruiter, obviously you can send connection requests to those candidates and put just a short message to them to connect. Once you're connected, once they're first, you can then send them a message and try to see if they're open to opportunities. The thing with LinkedIn though is you have to be authentic and be genuine. If you don't have a strong presence on LinkedIn, it's not going to be as successful for you just because so much messaging and so much flooding of inboxes is happening right now on LinkedIn. Every single day, I know I'm flooded with messages and I probably miss a few. Now, for someone like me who's a full-time recruiter and spends all day recruiting and also a lot of time on LinkedIn, if I have to take my time and navigate through that inbox carefully to make sure I haven't missed anything, just think about a candidate. Someone who's just casually visiting their LinkedIn page. Some of them aren't even visiting them, once a week sometimes. So my point is, just because you sent a message in their inbox doesn't mean they saw it, or it might be flooded among a ton of spam. So definitely look at their profile as well, get their contact info and see if you can call them or send them an email, a personalized email. That is another way to take LinkedIn and actually get a little bit more targeted on your job search. Now, another way to find talent is spending the money and buying a seat on Sales Navigator or LinkedIn Recruiter. Now, those are very costly, so if budget is an issue, you might want to think about that a little bit. There are ways to work around, like the tricks I just shared with you a few seconds ago, but LinkedIn Recruiter and Sales Navigator, so many recruiters out there are using it, and if it's an option and if you have the money, I would definitely invest in that. Another tip is social media. I know you hear this all the time and you're probably wondering, what does that mean when it comes to recruiting? Well, I think, and this is my take, it's just being authentic and sharing a lot of content, not overly bombarding people with your job needs all the time. You have to have a good online presence. Give them something to want to visit your page, share content, share information, maybe comment on their posts, write organic content that is actually contributing to your industry and draw traffic and attention to your site. That is not going to just drive the organic search for the candidates, but it's also going to share your name with other people in the industry who will refer you, who will bring people to you. A lot of the candidates that I find when I do placements are coming from referral. People who just find me on LinkedIn and send me a direct message or an email and introduce a colleague or friend or family of theirs. And right there is somebody who might not even be looking right now in the industry. I have candidates that are not even actively looking. They're gainfully employed and they're having conversations with me. So to any recruiter, any hiring manager out there, definitely share content use social media as a personal branding, and that will just spider out your presence and help you in your recruiting efforts. This one does take time though. So it's not a silver bullet or something that's going to happen right away. This is something that is planting seeds that you are just going to continuously work on and build. After the months go on, you will see this give you so much ROI. So work on your brand. Just to piggyback off that last tip, post video, testimonials, ask for referrals from clients, from employees. Use that content to boost the integrity of your brand and also use it as content. If you're not comfortable with video, I would say try again. And if you're still not comfortable with it, there are some workarounds, especially at restaurants or hotels, clubs that have a lot of hourly staff. Try to find somebody who is a great cheerleader for your brand, somebody who is excited about social media that would embrace this project. Dedicate at least a day a week and give them the opportunity to work on your TikTok, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Twitter feeds. Obviously, have it approved by HR and management, but to give them the opportunity to write this content, make it fun, make it interesting, a day in a life. This type of content is also going to drive attention to your pages, which will then in turn bring more candidates and more eyes and more attention to your postings. Another tip is to build your ATS. If you don't know what an ATS is, it's an applicant tracking system, and you should have one. You should 100% have one. If you are a recruiter or hiring manager and you already do have an ATS, that's great. Just keep working on it. Make sure you're tagging your candidates properly. Make sure you're putting every single piece of information in that thing and building it for the future. This has carried me through the 2020 pandemic in a huge way. I was able to build my ATS, and now I have access to thousands of candidates in my niche that I wouldn't have had before. So if you don't have an ATS, definitely look out for that. I don't want to try to pitch any to you right now on this video. Just simply look up ATS or applicant tracking system. And if you don't have one at your property, restaurant, hotel, club, or place of business, you should definitely think about adding this. This is a must. Another tip, and most companies and most businesses are doing this, but I'm gonna just voice it anyway because it's super important, is referrals. Referrals from your employees, from your family, and from your colleagues. Referrals are huge. Definitely make sure that you have that referral bonus as an incentive to have your team promote your brand. But referrals can bring you talent that you would never find from job postings or from job fairs. Of course, I just said the word job fair, but those are still going on right now, and they are effective. You can find talent from them. Now, I know a lot of C-suite and management think sometimes it might be tricky if you're short-staffed. How are you going to afford having a job fair? Especially if you have a busy restaurant or property, how are you going to make this work? Well, one way to do it is have a working job fair. Instead of taking 2 people or 3 people out of operations and having them sit at a table or a tent outside or in another room and having them just in there, maybe it's a slow day and there's not much traffic coming in for the job fair and they might be on their phones and it's essentially taking time away from your operations. Don't do that. Have a sign-in sheet, put it at the front desk, put it at the reception area, put it at the hostess table. So when somebody comes in for the job fair, they simply sign in, and then you have one extra person on shift that you can pull from ops. They can check the sign-in sheet and they can go sit down, give a bottle of water to the candidate, and then have that conversation with them. It's essentially an open interview. You don't have to give that person an hour interview. It's an open interview. It's an open house, but it's going to give you the chance to meet that candidate face to face and hopefully answer any of their questions and provide information on the opportunities at your business. Another thing you can do if you're in retail or hospitality or restaurants is put the info on the bottom of the receipt tape. Maybe just say that you're hiring, or maybe a link to go apply online on the bottom of that tape. It might not be that particular customer that has the receipt, but they might have a kid at home that's looking for some part-time work, and they might just notice it on that paper. Every little thing works. There is no silver bullet, but you can take all these tips and use them as part of your arsenal as you attack these hiring needs. Also, let's not forget about other resources. Resources like the Career Source, Unemployment Office, high schools, community colleges, local churches, synagogues. You get the idea. Go to these local businesses, local places of worship, local schools, and promote your needs. This is another way to share the word in the community that you are looking for additional help at your place of business. And just piggybacking off of that, I would say make sure you're being involved in the community. Not just asking and needing things from them, but providing to them, helping them in any kind of fundraisers or events. See if there's anything you can do locally in the community that can help their places of business, their schools, their churches, their synagogues. Now, I know all these tips I shared are not rocket science, and probably you have done all of these in the past. I just wanted to make a video to put them all together so you can go through this checklist and make sure you are giving 100% attention to every single aspect of finding talent. With that said, I hope this video helped, and I hope this was able to give you a good peace of mind that you're doing all the right things to find talent. It is super hard right now, so I wouldn't look at yourself and think it's just you and why are people not applying to your company. It is happening across the board. In the state of Florida, I can't tell you how many conversations I have a day with businesses and hotels and restaurants and clubs that are just scrambling for talent right now. It is a crisis. It will eventually start to calm down a little bit, but until then, use this video to hopefully make sure you're doing everything you can to find that talent. If you like the content that I share on this channel, if you're a hiring manager, a candidate, a recruiter, and you just want to keep up to date on what's going on in the market, please hit the subscribe button on this channel. And hey, if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comments section below. I get back to everybody. You can also email me at jeremy@geckohospitality.com. And with that said, I hope you have a great week.